From feast or famine to boringly profitable, why consistency is the sexiest thing your nervous system has ever felt. Feast or famine lives in the body even as it shows up in your books. The big months land and relief rushes in, shoulders soften, breath returns, and for a moment everything feels possible. Then comes the brace, because experience has taught you what follows. The contraction, the scramble, the quiet panic disguised as productivity. Prosperity that arrives without rhythm trains the body to expect its disappearance. Safety feels like an illusion. That's the real cost. Not just uneven cash flow, but a system that never learns to trust success. Let me tell you about Sam. Sam is good, kind, generous. A sex worker turned musician, turned men's intimacy coach. On paper, their business looked solid. $15,000 months, a few $20K months, one exhilarating $28K spike. And then the drops. $4K, $7K, $0, $11K. The average penciled out. Their lived experience did not. Every high month felt like proof of their brilliance. Every low month felt like an indictment. Pricing shifted with anxiety. Offers changed in response to cash fear. Urgent ideas appeared whenever money tightened. They worked, briefly. Then the money disappeared again. Sam's nervous system was running the business, and it was exhausted. We didn't start with tactics when Sam came to me. We started with sensation. I asked, "What does your body feel like the week after a big lunch?" They laughed, sharp and bitter. Empty, like I gave everything away and now I have to do it again. There it was. Their model required constant performance, constant output, constant reinvention. There was no structure for receipt, no space for integration, no signal to their body that success was something they could rest inside of. So we built from there. Boring profitability isn't about shrinking your ambition. It's about designing for longevity. So first we smoothed cash flow. High-value clients moved into retainers. Monthly payments replaced one-time windfalls. Cadence replaced adrenaline. The first month, revenue dipped and their body panicked. But by month 3, they had $12K in reoccurring revenue before doing anything else. Their system noticed. Next, we restructured payments and contracts. 3 and 6 month commitments, annual retainers, auto renewals. A single sale no longer had to carry the entire month. Pressure softened, breath returned. Finally, we eliminated the launch cycle. No doors opening and closing, no manufactured urgency. Evergreen pathways replace spectacle. Sales become steadier. Smaller, yes, but reliable. And reliability changed everything. 6 months in, I asked Sam how they felt. Held. Not by me, not by strangers in the night, not by the bows on the strings, by their business. Their income hovered between $13 and $15K each month. Nothing flashy, nothing performative. And their body was learning something new, that safety can be structural. No 3 a.m. spirals, no panicked launches, no proving. They were working, creating, delivering, and being compensated with calm regularity. Their business had become boring, and boring felt exquisite. One more thing worth naming. Stability didn't stall Sam's growth. It made it possible. Today, their monthly income ranges from $55K to $60K. The expansion came after the system settled, and it happened without importing anyone else's framework or forcing speed. See, we've been taught to confuse intensity with desire, the spike, the rush, the momentary feeling of being wanted, and then the withdrawal. Volatility trains the nervous system to brace the moment pleasure appears. Boring profitability breaks the pattern. It replaces hot and cold with consistency, performance with presence, adrenaline with attunement. This is the kind of wealth that stays, predictable, available, touching slowly enough that the body stops flinching and starts softening. This is nervous system repair dressed up as business strategy, and it's deeply seductive. Your business can hold you in the ordinary moments, mid-month, on a quiet Tuesday. With the right structure, consistency becomes a sensation. The breath drops lower, the jaw unclenches, decisions arrive from desire rather than defense. Pricing steadies, boundaries feel clean, capacity opens because nothing is being forced. This is what safety feels like in the body: warm, present, available. Here, limitless prosperity takes root and generational wealth begins. From boringly profitable to beautifully scaled. How excellence becomes possible once urgency exits the room. When Sam's income stopped lurching, something subtle happened. Excitement, yes. Relief, for sure. But more importantly, space. The kind that lets a thought finish itself. The kind that allows discernment to surface without being drowned out by fear. For the first time in years, Sam could feel the difference between what worked and what drained, between what was effective and what was merely impressive. And that distinction became everything. When cash flow stabilized, Sam stopped negotiating with panic. They noticed where their best work lived. They noticed which clients arrived ready and which ones arrived hungry for extraction. They noticed how much energy it took to keep certain offers alive. Nothing dramatic changed overnight. What changed was attention. Excellence requires attention, and urgency destroys it. As their nervous system settled, Sam began editing, optimizing. Fewer offers, clearer containers, longer engagements that allowed for depth to replace velocity. Revenue didn't expand because Sam pushed harder. It expanded because they stopped diluting their work. What we did was we scaled without imported architecture. There was no funnel to install, no borrowed framework to enforce. We didn't grow their business by adding layers. We grew it by refinement. Sam tightened delivery until it felt unmistakably theirs. They raised their prices once the work itself felt non-negotiable. They declined opportunities that required self-sacrifice, even when the money was tempting. Excellence became the filter. Anything that demanded urgency lost its appeal. Anything that compromised presence quietly fell away. And coherence increased. Revenue followed. Months are now landing between 55 and 60K. Fewer clients, longer relationships, clear expectations on both sides. Cash flow stays steady. There are no spikes to recover from, no crashes to explain. The nervous system remains regulated enough to notice what's working and to repeat it. Excellence is nervous system capacity, and it cannot survive in a braced body. It requires the ability to feel nuance, to sense when something is off by a fraction and correct early, to trust subtle information instead of waiting for a crisis. Because Sam had already built boring profitability, scaling didn't feel like acceleration. It felt like clarification. The business didn't outrun them, it responded to them. Scaling rooted in excellence does not chase growth. We are not getting big for the sake of being bigger. It refines until growth becomes inevitable. It honors capacity, it rewards alignment, and it expands in ways that the body can actually hold. This is how businesses grow without consuming their founders. This is how prosperity becomes spacious instead of extractive. This is where expansion learns to move at the speed of trust. Reflection prompts. Where does intensity stand in for trust in your business? What would change if baseline revenue met your needs before expansion? How does your body respond to the idea of predictable income arriving month after month? Where would refinement create greater impact than expansion in your business? What work feels so clean it no longer requires convincing? What becomes possible when urgency steps out of the decision-making seat? Daily affirmations. I am held by structures that honor my body and my brilliance. I command income that arrives with rhythm, reliability, and reverence. Consistency feeds my nervous system and sharpens my power. I expand through steadiness, precision, and embodied trust. Limitless prosperity moves through me and roots itself into my life. Prosperity multiplies through what I choose to sustain. Profit is protest, and so is choosing stability in a system that profits from volatility. Boring profitability restores rhythm, reliability, and real power. Let boring be your rebellion. Let excellence be your standard. Let your business hold you the way you've been holding everything else.